What is up, my thrifty friends? Tabs here from the Urban Goddess Shop. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I am doing a highly requested video, and it is an eBay Q&A. So I put out a post on Instagram requesting any questions that you guys had on eBay or getting into eBay or questions about my eBay business, and they came pouring in. I'm not gonna lie. I got a lot of questions to go through. I hope it covers a lot of the things that maybe you guys are worried about or concerned or don't know how to do. I do think you're gonna be able to walk away from this video with a good understanding, a better understanding, and hopefully be able to take the plunge into starting your own eBay business. Before we get started, if you are new to my channel, I'm a Canadian reseller. I'm a mom to 2 girls, a wife. I work part-time in a hospital pharmacy, and I love to sell used clothing. It is my jam here on YouTube, and I share everything about my business, helping you build a side hustle reselling clothing as well. All right, we're jumping in. I got a lot of notes here. I'm going to be reading off notes often because there was a lot of information that I kind of knew, but I didn't know like the actual details, and I had to look it up. I'm also going to have all the links down below so you can click on them and read them yourself. I also have some videos and just like articles that I feel like had good information. So the disclaimer, I am doing a big disclaimer here. I am not an eBay pro. I am also a Canadian seller, and we don't have access to the global shipping program, so I can't answer questions about that. I am sharing my own personal experience in this video. This is like my failures, the things I'm trying, the things I'm experimenting with. Like I said, I'm always trying new things right now because I'm still trying to learn the platform. I have not sold 100 items on eBay. I'm a relatively small seller on eBay. If you have any info that you want to add into this video, or maybe something that you know a little bit more about than I do, please by all means do, and just be kind about it. If there's something that I state that you don't think is correct, just be nice in the comments. I literally am doing my best, and the reason why I've avoided putting this video out is because I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. I don't have all the answers. Some of these things, like I said, I had to Google to find out. And if you're a seasoned eBay seller, please chime in the comments and share your experiences or your thoughts. Or if you are an American seller and you have some insight to share in the shipping side for US sellers, I would really appreciate that. There are also a ton of like eBay sellers that have YouTube channels that if you are US based and you have shipping questions, you can always go on there and do a quick search. You'll find a ton of information. Okay, so first off, I will not be going over how to set up an eBay account. There are a ton of videos explaining how to do this. And if that is your biggest concern, is how to just like get on eBay, selling on eBay may not be for you, because that is the simplest step, is setting up your account. It's all the extra things that you're going to have to learn, right? And it is a bit more of a complicated platform than Poshmark, for instance. But I don't think it's impossible. I think anyone can sell on eBay. Also, I want you guys to stay till the end because I'm going to give you my 5 top selling tips for eBay. Okay, let's jump into the questions. First question that I received was, which fields need to be filled out? And I think this is a really common question, so a great question. Thank you so much. Personally, I use a cross-listing software. I was using Prime Lister. I am right now using a different one. It is in beta testing. It is not available to everyone. As soon as it's done, I will let you guys know, but I have always used a cross-listing software to do this. So it does auto-populate quite a few fields, and I just have to do the asterisk ones. If you are doing it by hand, you only need to fill out the top section, and it is noted required. That's it. There is a bottom section and it is noted additional. I usually do item-specific categories such as like features, neckline, sleeve length, fit, pattern, closure, fabric type. These are just some examples. If I know them and they're easy to put in and I can just like search them up, I will add them in, but this is really what you're comfortable doing. Keep in mind, the more that you fill out, the better searchability you will have. I have also heard on the eBay podcast, which I will link below, I recommend you listen to it, that they are always adjusting and changing categories. And if you only do like one additional category or whatever, if there is a change to that category, sometimes it can put your listing into like imaginary world. It was like a really rare case they shared one time in the podcast, and I was like, okay, moral of the story was to try and put in a few of those additional categories if you can. You don't have to go crazy, like just a couple. Sleeve length. What's the closure on it? Do you know the material content? These are really easy things to add in. And I think they will help increase the visibility of your items, but you only have to do the required. Also, you will receive notifications on the eBay app when you have it set up, and it'll say like, these items are missing additional categories. Personally, I don't fix them. I don't think you have to, but I'm not sure. So if you are someone who knows the answer to that, please chime in below and let us know. But at this point, I usually don't answer all those notifications where they're like, you're missing additional categories. And I'm like, yeah, I purposely didn't do that. Next question was, do you need an eBay store, and why would you pay for a store? So straight from eBay, I did Google, like I said, a lot of things. It says, no, you do not need an eBay store subscription to sell on eBay, especially if you are a smaller casual seller. However, subscribing to eBay Store can provide you with discounted fees and additional free listings per month, not to mention added tools like eBay Seller Hub to manage and promote your listings. I did run my business at the beginning for the first 2 years on eBay without doing a store. I just switched to a store, I think in fall, like I think it was like October or November, and I do have the basic store. You don't need it, but I do see the benefits. For me, the cost in Canada is $24.95 a month for the basic store. So you would probably want to be making sales monthly on there to justify the additional cost. I have a store to create policies and run promotions, which I'll talk a little bit about later. I also like the Seller Hub and the analytics. Lots of great info you have access to, like way more than Poshmark. I've included links below for seller fees. So if your questions are based on what are the fees between being just a seller without a store and having a store, there are 2 separate links below. I would recommend you click and read both of them. It's not as complicated as you're thinking, so do some research. And yeah, I don't think the fee difference is that much, but I do like the additional tools. I like to be able to run promotions in my closet. I like the analytics. My goal is to increase my listings on eBay, and by doing that, it just made more sense for me to start with a store now and build it up. I also have it set up like with my name. I have categories. If someone comes across it, it is way more user-friendly for people to shop other items from your eBay business. So that's another perk of it too. And I did brand it the same as I do for Poshmark. So yeah, I don't think you need a store to get started. So end of the day, you don't have to do it. That is your own personal choice and what your goals are. If you're still hung up on this question, I would just search it in Google, and there's like a ton of information to help you make that decision. Next question, what's my strategy for listing and which items and how much? I used to price research each item as I cross-listed it. I would cross-list on my laptop, I would search solds on my phone, and I would try and price on the low to mid range of sold comps on eBay. I don't really do that as often anymore. I price pretty much the same, and I cross-list everything from Poshmark over to eBay. So everything I'm listing weekly is showing up into my eBay store, and it's relatively around the same price. In eBay, I have the option to do like 65, 25 like cents or whatever, and I do commonly do that on eBay, where on Poshmark it's just like a rounded dollar. I don't know why I do that. I feel like someone said it's like a seller strategy or like a marketing thing. So I do end all of my listing prices with 0.25. Now I'm sure you could go in and there's like psychology behind what you should end your listing cents in. I just do 0.25. That's 25 cents. That's mine. That's what I go to. I don't have an answer why I do it. It sounds so silly as I say it out loud, but yeah, that's that's what I'm doing. If you are searching solds on eBay, it will show you the solds for the last 90 days. I find it really user friendly. I love this. And to filter, so what you'll do is you'll search like an item, style, color, size. You can go as far as that. And on the filter, you're going to click that, and it's quite a ways down. You're going to scroll down and toggle on solds. Then it's just going to show you what items we're selling for. If an offer was sent to someone, it may not show what they agreed on, but you can get a pretty good idea in here. That's what I find. I feel like I can get a pretty good idea doing that. So yeah, I'm listing at the same price, and I'm sending offers to watchers on all of my items. I do accept offers. I don't have minimum set up, because you'll see when you start listing that you can do like accept an offer immediately at this minimum price. I just have everything set to 0 and or like not filled in, basically. So if someone sends me an offer, I can either accept it or counter. Like, what's the worst case? You counter an item. Next question. This one is a very big one. So shipping, how do I set up shipping policies? What I use to ship, which options to select, calculated versus flat rate, and why, general tips, lower shipping costs to US from Canada. This was like a loaded question, so we're gonna address everything kind of separately. I used to use calculated shipping, and there is nothing wrong with that, okay? I just want to state that I made sales over 2 years using calculated shipping. I did recently switch to flat rate shipping, where I offer a flat rate. To the US, I offer $9.99 flat rate, and to Canada, it is $14.99. This is because I recently discovered NetParcel, which is part of PayPal. You are required to have a PayPal account to use it and to sign up. I'm not going to cover how to set this up, because it's very easy to do if you choose to do it. And it is one of the most basic tasks that you will do going forward into your business. You may also have access to cheap cross-border courier services. And I don't have access to it, so I actually don't have my own personal experience or information. Quick Google search of how to use cross-border courier to sell on eBay, and I'm sure you'll get tons of videos and info. If you're a Canadian and you're looking for this option, pretty sure the Every Closet, Steph and Ethan have a video on it, and Danica Thrifty Stew, she also has a video on it. Both of them fully explaining. Both of them live in different provinces, so the Every Closet, they're in Vancouver, and the Thrifty Stew, she is in Calgary. And yeah, so 2 separate perspectives in how they do it, but I know their videos explain a lot of things. With NetParcel, I also have my eBay store connected, and when a sale goes through on eBay, I just have to log into my NetParcel account, enter in the order number from eBay, and it will actually pull up all the buyer's info. It will even autofill my own info, which is very time saving. And I just have to enter the dimensions and the weight, and then select the best option. I have also been putting in insurance values, so whatever the value of the item was. Now, when I select the options, I personally choose tracked parcel. I sell higher ASP items. I want to know where the parcel is and when it is accepted by the buyer. You can go untracked, but I think it's a little bit more riskier. If I was just selling items that were like $20, $25, $30, I would probably do untracked. But yeah, most of my sales are over $35, over $50, and I really want to know what's going on with that parcel if there is an issue. This is your choice. Like, at the end of the day, what you choose and how you choose to ship is your own choice, and it's so specific to your location. So it's hard for me to say what you should do, because depending where you live, you will have access to different options. Everyone has access in Canada to NetParcel. So if you want an easy route, I'm finding it very easy, very user-friendly to use. Yeah. And if you have any questions once you're setting up your NetParcel, please just shoot a comment down below and I can answer the question through there. The other thing is One of it was calculated versus flat rate. So I recently switched over to flat rate. I am finding more sales being able to offer a cheaper shipping alternative. So through calculated, a lot of times if I was shipping it to the States, it would end up calculating it at like $20, $21. And it was close to that when I was using Canada Post, but through Net Parcel, many times on a lightweight small item like a pair of Lulu leggings, I can ship it for like under $11.50 to the States. And that I just shipped an item to Texas for $11 flat. It was crazy. I'm shocked. I've never seen this shipping option, and I think it is having a positive impact on my business. Depending where you live, do your own research, find out what shipping options you have, and then you can go forward from there. I have it selected on eBay, I think, as Canada Post tracked parcel, but I'm not always sending it that route. It's whatever I get the best rate through for Net Parcel. And then also with Net Parcel, when you choose, so often I'm finding UPS is my best option going down into the States. When I accept that, it will update the tracking number in the eBay sale with the courier and the tracking number. So I don't even have to go and do that, where before I had to do that. I'm really liking that option. And then the buyer's able to track their own package, which I think a lot of buyers, when they're spending, you know, $50 on an item, they like that option to be able to track their package. Play around with this, play around with different shipping weights, different dimensions. When you set up any courier service, enter in various dimensions and weights for items that you're selling and find out what the average shipping rate is. You can use like past sales, or you can even just like Google a store in Texas, like just Google a Value Village, get their address, put it in and see what it would cost to ship, you know, a sweater or a top there. This is like a lot of learning a platform is playing around and experimenting on your own. I'm a little bit of like, just go with the flow, make mistakes, figure it out. Like mistakes don't scare me. So I think when you start to go into these different platforms that maybe aren't as easy per se as Poshmark, you just have to be prepared that there's going to be a learning curve. And worst case, you're going to either, I don't know, like if you're doing calculated shipping, you should always weigh your item. You should know what size poly mailer you're going to be sticking it in. Like you should generally know your dimensions. And I think that the more you do it, the better you'll get. I have done it for a lot of items already, so I'm pretty good at estimating now, but sometimes my estimations are off and I just soak up the cost. If it's a couple bucks more, I'm just soaking it up. It is what it is. It's a mistake. Going forward, if I'm questioning an item, I will make sure to weigh it. Reselling is trial and error. No one came into this and was a pro in the first month. Same with switching platforms. You're not going to switch platforms and be a pro right away. You're just going to have to learn through it. Fun fact, actually, it is cheaper for me to ship to the States than most of Canada. So not all of Canada, but most of Canada. And that is why I offer the $9.99 shipping to the US, because I can get a better rate by usually $5, like $4 to $5 going down into the States, which I think is just crazy. Okay, next question, does eBay charge $1.95 for every relisted item? This person said they were charged every month the item didn't sell. I've never had this happen, and I would say refer to the seller fee link below. I know before you list an item, it says if it's free or if there's going to be a charge, and I just want to say I'm not sure the whole situation of that and why it happened. The other thing I would recommend you do if you have this type of question, I would contact eBay support if you have any like specific questions or billing questions, things like that. They'll be able to answer it for you. They have excellent support. Like, I'm impressed with it. You can't phone in, but they have good messaging. Actually, you can phone in, because I had an issue. One of my first eBay sales, I had an issue and I phoned in and I was able to talk to someone. But yeah, you should be able to solve it through their support. Next question, do I ship international? So currently I am only shipping to the US and Canada. I'm playing around with NetParcel right now, just learning it. I just switched over to it a couple weeks ago. And I think when I feel more confident in the pricing, I will expand outside of North America. I have in the past used calculated, and as long as the dimensions and the weight were correct, you should be fine. And before, when I was doing calculated, I offered worldwide shipping. I also know some people use eBay to generate the labels, which if you're in the States, you would have access to the global shipping program. And I think that it's just really user-friendly and easy. We don't have the global shipping program here in Canada, so you would be required to do it through like Canada Post, FedEx, UPS, things like that. But if you set up your shipping to be just like calculated, choose the countries you want to ship to, you can do that. And if for right now, maybe when you're first getting started, maybe you just offer it to North America, right? You don't have to ship worldwide to make sales. Between Canada and the US, there is a pretty big market. Obviously, if you offer worldwide shipping, I think you have a much greater opportunity and a gigantic world market, but it's not mandatory. You don't have to do that, and do what you are most comfortable with. I've rarely had an issue with calculated shipping where their costs were off. The only reason the cost would be off is if my dimensions and weight were wrong. Otherwise, it's pretty bang on. Yeah, and I think if you're estimating, understand there is a risk, and people are like, well, how do you know, like, when did you start estimating over weighing and measuring everything? When you can guess, and your guess is almost spot on to when you double check and weigh and measure, then you know you're ready to start guesstimating your weights and dimensions. The other thing I do to help with guessing dimensions is I only have 3 poly mailer sizes. I know what fits in them. I know what size a sweater and a jeans will fit. I know what size like a pair of Lulu shorts or a sports bra will fit in. And then I have my bigger one. And to be honest, I don't have very many single items that I would need one of my big poly mailers for. My big poly mailers are for like 2 sweaters, a pair of jeans, and a shirt. Like, they're ginormous poly mailers, and I only use them for big bundles, which I don't typically see on eBay. I don't think I've ever sold more than 1 item in a sale on eBay. And not saying that bundles aren't available. I think it's a little bit more complicated for buyers to do that. So yeah, I've never had to ship more than 1 item. Next question was, do I run auctions, set price, or auctions? And I like this one because I think this is something that a lot of people wonder. I personally do fixed price or best offer. So basically it's a fixed price, but I will accept a best offer. I allow people to send offers to me. So straight from eBay, I looked this up. What is the best route to do? If your item is in high demand, low supply, and you want to make the most money, opt for an auction. I haven't personally had success with auctions, but it doesn't mean they don't work. I just don't think I've had items that were in that high of demand with a low supply. You could try it out on a few items if you want. If you know that you have an in high demand item with a very low availability, which you can search that and see how many are available, then you could make the decision for yourself. I mean, you can set your starting bid, right? So if you set your starting bid at what, like same thing if you were doing live shows, if you set your starting bid at 10, you're not willing to accept anything less than 10. I mean, you can let it go. Also, if you decide to do auctions, there's like a ton of information, like what days are best to have your auction and what times. There's a ton of free information out there to help you do auctions, how to set them up, things like that. Because I don't personally do them, I don't have any information on this, but I did do just a quick Google search and there was tons there if that's something you want to try. All right, next is, do I accept returns? Why or why not? I do. It is recommended by eBay. I accept up to 30 days at buyer's expense. So eBay states all sellers on eBay, business and private, have to state a returns policy. Private sellers can state that they don't accept returns, but they're still subject to eBay's money back guarantee. And I actually didn't look into that, but I know eBay runs a business that the customer is always right. So if the customer ordered a case, whether you accept returns or not, they can force you to refund the customer. Basically, they just don't pay you out and they pay the customer and refund them themselves. To me, it just didn't make sense to say I don't accept returns. I just accept them, but the buyer has to pay the return shipping. Business sellers have to make customers aware of their right to cancel and give buyers a minimum of 14 days to request a return. So I think your minimum can be 14. I don't know why I do 30 days. I think it's just like an auto-populated option. And I don't want to state if I have or haven't had returns because I don't want to encourage them. But returns on eBay are a very normal thing. A very normal thing. And if you're in the States, I know a lot of people offer free returns because shipping is just a lot more affordable down in the States, especially on like lightweight items, small lightweight items. I would say you got to do returns. It's just a part of the business on eBay. Next question, do you ever use free shipping? Why or why not? Like, you guys had really good questions. So I am currently playing around with free shipping. I am going to try offering free shipping on a few items. I saw an Instagram post a little while ago and a guy said that a lot of buyers will filter by free shipping. So they're only looking at items that have free shipping. And he said sometimes you're able to get more money for an item even after the free shipping because you're only competing with people that are offering free shipping. You know, it's just a really common thing. It's also like a sales tactic. It's like a note, like people want free shipping. I think if you were selling an item that's like $20 and you offered free shipping and the cost to ship is $19, that doesn't make sense, right? But if you had baseball cards and you were selling them for 20 bucks, it cost you $1.30 to ship it. Absolutely free shipping. I don't think I would do free shipping on a heavy item that doesn't have a high value. You need to look at your own individual profit margin, what it would cost you to ship it as an estimate, and what you would be comfortable accepting. I personally am going to be playing around with free shipping on some of my very lightweight items that I feel like are only going to cost me $10 to ship, and see how that goes. I still have to set up the shipping policy to do that right now. Okay, next question. How does eBay make their money? And is it commission or per listing charge? So straight from eBay, I just Googled this. If your item sells, eBay keeps a portion of the sale. This final value fee for most categories is 13.25% of the sale price or lower, plus 30 cents per order. This depends on if you're just a regular seller or if you have a store. There are like some very small changes, but like I said before, you can check the links down below, and I have seller fee without a store and then seller fees with a store, and you can compare and contrast both and decide what works for you. Next question, how to have an effective sale or promotion. I am still figuring this one out. There are two people I follow for eBay Insight. Sarah Stiles on YouTube is one of them. She also has a podcast that I really enjoy. It's her and another girl. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but they just have really good eBay discussions, and both of them sell quite a bit of stuff on eBay. And then Casa Chic on Instagram is another one that gives lots of free information away, and she's a pretty good seller on there. So yeah, those are two people. They do things a little bit differently, so you can pick and choose what information you want to consume, but I would recommend both of them. So I have been playing with paid promotion. I always do paid promotion. I should state that I'm always doing a paid promotion on my listings. I used to do 2.2% because I heard from another eBay seller that that was probably the minimum that you should do. But recently, like in the last few days, I have been switching some of mine to 15%. And I know it sounds crazy, But I want you to check out Sarah Stiles' recent podcast interview. I'm going to drop a link below because she really explains it all. And I think of it this way. On Poshmark, you pay 20%, plus most times you are required to offer a discount on shipping. And this can increase the percentage that you're paying. So like sometimes you're paying up to 23% depending on the value of the item if you include what they're taking for that discount shipping. And you only pay the promotion fee on eBay if the sale goes through from the person clicking that link. If they are searching the item, they just naturally find it, they don't click on the paid promotion ad, then you don't pay that paid promotion. And the way Sarah was explaining it, it made a lot of sense. And she said, like, not all sales are going to fall under the paid promotion, so promote them. And some of them you're going to pay that higher commission, but lots of them you're not going to, which I thought was interesting because I didn't really understand how it all worked. I've also heard a lot of other bigger eBay sellers down in the US talking about what they do promotion at, and it seems to be pretty common that people are promoting at 10 to 15%. Even if it was 10% and eBay's taking that, 13%, you're still at 23%, which is probably similar to what you would end up paying on Poshmark too. At the end of the day, it's your choice how you choose to promote your items. You can do them whatever percentage you feel comfortable. eBay will also put in a recommended, and this is what they're recommending, which you could start with as well. It really all goes down to personal preference, the items that you're selling. Like, do you have very unique items, or are you selling items that are in a flooded market? Obviously, if you're selling items in a flooded market, common brands, common styles, everyone else is selling the same stuff, you're probably going to have to promote them a little bit higher. If you have certain items that there's only like 2 or 3 on eBay, you probably could just promote at the 2.2% or 2% is the minimum that you can do it at, and you'll be just fine because you have an item that's in high demand, that there's a low supply. Like it's so hard to explain this sometimes because there's a lot of factors that you have to look at when you're listing. And I think the big thing is like consuming some content on eBay that just kind of gets your brain thinking in that mode. It is different than like Poshmark for pricing and deciding these kind of things, because Poshmark doesn't give us the option. We're kind of all on the same plateau, and then I think what sets you apart would be your sharing. But on eBay, it's that paid promotion that can boost your listing. Also, there is a link down below and it answers a bunch of questions on paid promotions. I think it's worth a read. I had just done a quick Google search, kind of skimmed through the article, and I felt like it was some good information. So if you have more questions on paid promotion, I would recommend going below. Next question, what are the best items to sell on eBay? So I think it's the same as any other platform, items in demand or unique, right? Really, you can sell anything. Keep in mind that there is way more users and sellers on eBay, so you're going to be competing with more people. I used to only list items that were unique or rare, and yeah, now I just cross-list everything over. Everything I'm listing on Poshmark, I'm cross-listing over to eBay. You can easily search availability, what's available, what has sold in the last 90 days. When you search a specific item, it will tell you how many are available down below. It's usually like, if you're doing it on your phone, it'll be like a little blue button at the bottom, and it'll tell you like 500 items are available for this exact same search. And then if you want to go to the filter, toggle on solds, you'll be able to tell how many items have sold. So for example, if there is 500 available and only 50 have sold in the last 90 days, that's not a really good sell-through rate, right? That's probably not the best item to be selling on eBay, or you're going to have to price that low. If I did a search that there was, 20 items available and 15 items had sold in the last 90 days, I would probably price it a little bit higher because there's not very many available, and it seems like the sell-through rate is pretty high on them. But yeah, I mean, just like Poshmark, the market can be flooded on eBay as well. But it is a lot easier to search these types of things on eBay and make those kinds of decisions. I know a lot of people actually do eBay comp searching when they're outsourcing, and they'll base what they buy off of eBay comps instead of Poshmark comps. And I'm kind of, because Poshmark is like my main breadwinner for profits, I do most of my searching on Poshmark. But as I find like new or unique items, like I picked up a cycling jacket a couple weeks ago. That one, I looked up the solds on eBay because I felt like that was going to be more of an eBay item. Poshmark I find is really good for like fashionable items. And then there's like, I don't know, unique or utility pieces that do well on eBay as well. Okay. That is all the questions that I received. I did my best. I hope I didn't miss anyone. If you have any additional questions, drop them down below. Let's go into my 5 top tips for selling on eBay. So number one, you need to just go for it. The only way you're going to get better is by learning and trying, and sitting on the sidelines is going to get you nowhere. Worry is the greatest thief, right? You're worrying about like, what happens? Yeah, but what happens if you just try it and you don't have any problems? I actually don't have very many issues selling on eBay. I feel like once you get over the obstacles of just creating your listings and like picking your shipping and things like that, it's pretty easy. It's very straightforward. All of their features that they, like all the things you have to fill out as you go through it, are very straightforward. The worst thing that could happen is that you lose money on an item, right? Worst case, you don't make the profit that you wanted. Your shipping maybe costed more because you didn't weigh your item. Like the worst case is that you have to refund a buyer and you're out the cost of maybe like shipping and the cost of the item. Like I don't know. It's not scary. I promise there's like nothing crazy that's going to happen. You can also contact eBay support if you have a sale and something's not adding up or you need help with it. Reach out to them. They will get back to you in a timely manner, and they're really good at solving problems. Number 2, trial and error. No one was a pro seller on Poshmark when they first started, and you won't be on eBay either. So try different things. Watch some eBay seller content. There's tons out there. There's lots of people that their main business is eBay, and you can just do a search on YouTube and you'll come up with a ton of people, and then choose what works for you, which personalities you like. But yeah, there's lots of free information out there to give you some confidence and answer some questions. Number 3 is shipping. So measure and weigh in your poly mailer for each item until you know what to expect. And as I said before, when you can start guessing those calculations and double checking and you're right, then you're probably good to do some guesstimating. I don't like physically weigh very many items anymore unless it's something unique, but I generally can guesstimate what an item will cost. Also, now that I'm doing more of that flat rate shipping for items under 2 pounds, I don't even have to weigh and measure because I know it's going to be able to fit, and there's certain areas where I'm just willing to eat a couple bucks in the shipping cost, no different than what I would do on Poshmark if I was sending out an offer with a shipping discount. Number 4, ship as soon as possible. I have my handling time set to 3 days, which isn't ideal. I think eBay ideally wants you to be set as 1 day, like ship same day, ship next day kind of thing. But it's just not realistic for us in our life, and we're gone so much. We're commonly gone on weekends. So I did set mine to 3 days, and I still make sales. I also think one of the perks of having the store is that you can mass edit your listings. So for example, if we were going to be on holidays for 8 days, my daughter can't do my shipping, I would change my handling time on all my listings to whatever was appropriate for the time that we're gone. So yeah, I do think that was another perk to having a store. Number 5, it's okay to make mistakes. The eBay customer is always right. That is the eBay motto. Know that, okay? Make sure you maintain a good rating, which takes me back to the customer is always right. And if you sold an item once, it will sell again. Worst case, you're out the cost of the item, and reach out to support if you need it. that is it. I promise it's not as scary as you think it's going to be. And the scariest step sometimes is just learning how to do something. So this is Mama T talking to you right now. I'm going to give you a little pep talk. If you are curious and interested in selling on eBay, pick a couple items, experiment with it. You don't need a store to do that. You can just set up a basic account. You can do calculated shipping, and it doesn't take much to get started. eBay is a little bit more of a finicky platform to sell on. They favor consistency, although I feel like most platforms favor consistency. But yeah, you want to be a little bit consistent doing it. So maybe you list one item a day over to eBay. The other thing that I totally forgot to mention as I think of it right now is that eBay listings are good for 30 days and then they reset, and they will automatically relist your items. I end listing. So when I'm close to the 30 days, you can go into your available listings and you can sort it by ending soonest. When I have items that are down to 1 or 2 days before they renew, I will end listing and then sell similar. Keep the photos, make any little adjustments I need, and then relist it. And eBay treats that as a brand new listing, which pushes it up into the eBay algorithm. It's almost like on Poshmark, the after 60 days when you can copy the listing and it puts it as a new listing. It's the same idea, except on eBay, you don't have to wait 60 days. You can do it in a 30-day window, but make sure when you do that, that you are doing sell similar. Don't copy it, do sell similar. So that actually would be like tip number 6. All right, guys, I hope this has answered your questions. This is a much longer video than I thought it was going to be. I was going to do a live video after just to answer any more questions, but I feel like this was a good chunk of them. If you have more questions, drop them down below. I will do my best to answer them, and perhaps this will warrant a second video to do on eBay. I hope this helps you in your reselling business. I hope it has given you some confidence and some information, also some links for tools to help you feel more confident and be able to jump into eBay. All right, if this video brings you value in your reselling business, make sure to give me a thumbs up and tap subscribe on the way out. Thank you for supporting me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I am wishing you all many sales, and I'll see you next time. Bye.